Hey y'all, so today we're going to talk all about overcoming victim mentality. Are you ready? Let's go. Before we dive into the message, let me introduce myself. My name is Devin Janae, and I get the pleasure of serving you through Blissful-Faith. And here at Blissful-Faith, we encourage you to be your authentic self and walk hand in hand with your bestie forever, Jesus Christ. With that being said, let's get into the video, okay?
I want to introduce to you Bestie Belongings, your free resource library brought to you by Blissful-Faith. Bestie Belongings is like a faith and mental health toolbox designed specifically for you to win in every area of your life. It includes powerful devotionals, practical workbooks, various mini bundles, and more. All your resources in one place because you're a bestie and you belong. Wherever you are, these digital products will help you to have blissful faith and walk hand in hand with your bestie forever, Jesus Christ. Now available on blissfulfaith.com, linked in the description down below. Now let's get back into the video.
So first things first, we have to realize that life is all about perspective. We can either view it from the lens of optimism or we can view it from the lens of pessimism, but we gonna view it either way it goes. So we gotta choose, And I used to be like, God, I didn't ask for none of this. I didn't ask to be sent here. I didn't ask for the abuse. You know what I'm saying? Because of the abuse, every encounter with people, I was viewing it from that little girl who got sexually abused. And then it didn't stop there because life really be lifing. And next thing you know, I found myself as an adult still trying to run from what happened to me. Trying to suppress it. And I noticed there would be points in times where I would be in self-pity and then asking God to take me off this earth. And then all up and through depression and anxiety, having negative thoughts. And then it was just a lot. It was a lot. And then my living situation, it didn't help, okay? And I would really be asking God, why me? Why would you allow me to go through this and then keep me in close proximity with the people who abuse me? Like, what's wrong with you, God? And honestly, I stayed in that place for a long time. And God, man, he kept me in it because I believe he wanted to show me how everything I was doing was a reaction based around victimhood. And if you were abused ever in your life, yes, you were a victim in that circumstance, but victimhood is not a permanent position, especially since you are a child of God. So yes, that happened to you. Yes, acknowledge it. Yes, talk about it with God and those who are meant to help you. Yes, cry. Yes, go through all the emotions, but do not allow yourself to stay there because that's how you end up damaging people. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't even get upset at the people who abuse me for real because that happened to them. Whether they want to admit it or not, you can tell something happened. And the saying, hurt people is the truth. So are you going to be the hurt one or are you going to be the healed? Your story isn't one of a victim. It's the story of an overcomer. Okay? It's so easy to allow our situations and our circumstances to define and defy us. But let me ask you this question. Who is the one who formed you? Who is the one who knew you before you was in your mother's womb? Who is the one who knew you before the pain? Who knew you before the hurt? Who were you before the pain and the hurt and the rejection and the depression and the business failures? Who are you? Because that's the person that you're destined to be. The one before all that stuff happened to you, okay? And that's the one you're becoming. And in the midst of all this brokenness and all this anxiety, this depression, in the midst of your healing, you're going to come out of this, but only if you respond to God and leave that victim mentality behind, okay? And today, that's what I'm here for. I'm here to show you how to do this based on what I did in my own life. Because I can only talk to you from experience, okay? And let me throw this in there. You would be a fool if you think you could pray this stuff away. No, you have to do the practical work too. Because you are a spirit, but you also are in a physical realm. So let's not act like we're going to just pray things away. No, you got to do the work. Okay? Prayer is not an excuse to not do the work. Okay? You have to do the work. All right? So here we go. Number 1, you got to, let me stop. You have to acknowledge it. If you've been experiencing a victim mentality, don't act like you're not. Don't be like, oh, that's not me. I don't do that. That person lying. You trying to point the finger at other people. No, this is about you. And you have to take accountability and responsibility for what happened to you. Okay? We be so quick to point the finger when somebody may call us out or say something that presses on our insecurities. But you have to remember that hurt you for a reason, you know? So take responsibility even if it's not your fault. Because the reality is, it's now your responsibility to heal. And all that means is that you're now able to respond. Okay? Number 2. I kind of said it, but you got to take responsibility. You got to take responsibility for your actions. So first, we got to acknowledge it. Then we got to take responsibility. And listen, if you was a child and you got abused or whatever like me, you couldn't stop that stuff from happening. But see, as a teenager, as a young adult, and as a grown woman or man, oh baby, there was stuff that you put yourself in. And you cannot blame that other person for the situation and the circumstances you're in. And you can't blame God either. Okay? So let me give you a little example from my life. I was betrayed by a friend before. Alright? My friend was, messing around with my boyfriend at the time. And like, I was having dreams, like warning dreams about it. And I still was friends with her, and I was ignoring it. And, when stuff came out, it came out big, okay? And yeah, I was upset, but then I had to take a step back and be like, no, like, I was getting warning dreams about this. Like, I can't be so mad and blaming her for everything. No, I gotta take responsibility for the part I played. I mean, I ignored the flags. So self-awareness and self-accountability, it will really save you from victim mentality. And listening to God, obeying God, okay? Because He will always show you. And I want to just say this right quick. Taking responsibility is not the same as blaming yourself. Because I've heard people say, oh, this is all my fault. And, just really going in on themselves when all of it is not on you. You're just taking responsibility for the part you played. So no, you're not dumb. No, you're not stupid. No, you're not to blame. No, you just had a part to play in the situation. And now you get to acknowledge it. And you get to learn from it. And now you're going to move different next time you're in a situation similar. Okay? It's all a part of growing. So please, stop beating yourself up. Okay? Which brings me to number 3. And for the rest, you're going to have to go to the blog because there is so much more that I am just not going to be able to say today. I'm sorry. All right? But no, I'm just kidding. Number 3 is you have to give yourself grace. You have to give yourself grace. You got to give your past self grace, and you got to give your present self grace. And grace, listen, grace has been very difficult for me because of growing up with a critical parent. Okay? Because I always felt like I was doing something wrong. And I felt like I was letting myself slide. And I should be punishing myself for making a mistake or not knowing. But the whole time, that wasn't even my own voice. That was somebody else's voice, who had an unrealistic standard of me. Who had an unrealistic standard of themselves. Who probably had an unrealistic standard parent. Well, that didn't make sense. But a parent who had unrealistic standards of them, But I just say this to say, you have to be kind and you have to be patient with yourself. Kind of like you would have to do with a child. Because in all honesty, you're still a child, okay? There's still that little version of you inside of you that hasn't grown up, no matter what age you are. So you have to go back and reparent yourself and help that little version of you that didn't get the nurturing and the help and the love that you needed, So, yeah, and the way you do this is by getting with God. Because you can't receive real love from nobody that was created, okay? Only God can give you the love that you need so that you would then be able to give it to yourself. And I want to just leave you with this last example. So you know how when a baby is getting ready to take their first steps, how a healthy parent is really up there cheering and like encouraging the baby even when the baby falls. Because when the baby falls, the baby is kind of like wanting to cry, but then you see the parents on the side of the video, they be like, no, let's go, let's go. You are going to have to be the baby and the parent in this season, okay? You're going to have to be the one to take the steps, and you're going to have to be the one to encourage yourself, okay? Because sometimes the real reality is we don't have nobody around, and it's just us and God. And those are the moments that we get to grow, okay? All right? So that's all I got for y'all today. And I want you to always remember that you're destined to win because he got up. And I want you to click that like and that subscribe button. And also, do not forget to join the community and get your besties belongings. Let me play this clip for you one more time. Here.
I want to introduce to you Bestie Belongings, your free resource library brought to you by Blissful-Faith. Bestie Belongings is like a faith and mental health toolbox designed specifically for you to win in every area of your life. It includes powerful devotionals, practical workbooks, various mini bundles, and more. All your resources in one place because you're a bestie and you belong. Wherever you are, these digital products will help you to have blissful faith and walk hand in hand with your bestie forever, Jesus Christ. Now available on blissfulfaith.com, linked in the description down below.